You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. Dating and shidduchim in the Jewish community is certainly a crisis because a lot of young people are not meeting, not getting married. So you have your traditional matchmakers and you have your singles events. Well, Evan Harris joins us. He's come up with a concept that's geared to the modern Orthodox community, and it's called MODATE. And it started last year. About 1,000 people, over 1,000 people have used his services, and it's a unique one that's geared to helping people in the modern Orthodox community meet each other. He's grew up in the Five Towns, also went to Yeshiva University. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Zev. Thanks for having me. I actually went to Baruch College, even though I do have a lot of friends that went to Yeshiva University, and it's definitely a crowd we cater to.
Terrific. I know you were YU Connect, so I went to Baruch College too. So good that we both went to the same place. So tell us about how you got the idea to create MODATE, and let's look exactly what MODATE is.
Sure. So you mentioned YU Connect, and just about a year ago, I was looking at all these different dating platforms and services for people that are modern Orthodox like myself. And it just seemed like nothing really encapsulated everything that a modern Orthodox person is looking for when it comes to dating. It seems like a lot of my friends and myself were looking for a private solution, and also one that incorporated our friends, something that would help us get set up by the people that know us the best, as opposed to people we might just have a short 10 to 15 minute phone conversation with. So I thought it would be great if there could be a way to scale up the process of setting up friends. And that's really where the idea of MODATE came to be.
So how does it work? Walk us through that.
Sure. So we have MODATE connectors and MODATers. The connectors can be anyone. The connectors are people who send the MODATE form to their friends, and their friends fill it out with personality questions, religious questions. And then once a week, we run the MODATE algorithm, which was created by myself and my CTO, Menachem Losev, and it creates matches between people. And one of the beauties of MODATE is that it is anonymous. And obviously dating can't be totally anonymous because you have to know who you're looking for when you show up to a date. But we have a way that people are entered into the database where the people who have access to the database, which is really any connector, cannot know who they are because people enter in with an alias. So once the matches are made, it's up to the connectors to speak to each other about the match and then decide if they think that it might be shaykh, then they'll reveal the identities of their friends. And at that point, it's just like the process of setting up friends.
So it's not a match. Well, it is a matchmaking service, but not your traditional matchmaking service.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I think a big difference is that you're getting set up by your friends here, as opposed to someone that you might have just spoken to on the phone for a 10-minute conversation. Someone who's probably closer to your age range and really knows more about you and what you're looking for. I think also that it has some of the pros of a matchmaking service and some of the pros of an app. And we actually are in the process of kind of streamlining the way MODATE works. There have been some issues in the past with just the clunkiness of the texting between the connectors, and just sometimes people are busy with dating, but aren't busy enough to take themselves off of the platform. And so these are issues we're trying to solve. And we are soon to be launching a newer version of MODATE, which will hopefully really be a lot closer to an app, but at the same time, still maintain that privacy that people desire.
So people just contact you and they get to be connected. Is that how the process works?
Well, it's really more of a pyramid than that. So you could see MODATE at kind of the top of the pyramid, and then come the connectors. Anyone can sign up right now at modate.org to be a connector. And at that point, I reach out to them. I explain to them how the process works. And then they have the ability to send the MODATE form to their friends, who then fill it out and are in the database.
Any matches so far?
So we've had plenty of dates happen through MODATE. It's actually very hard to keep track because right now it's all Google Forms and texting, but there have definitely been plenty of dates. We've actually undergone this project where we've been sponsoring first dates that were set up through MODATE. So we do a few of those a month. And there are definitely also some relationships brewing right now. It's only been a year, so there have been no engagements yet, but as the numbers grow and as the process becomes easier, we believe that that's coming soon.
So does anybody vet to make sure that everybody's who he or she seems to be?
Sure. So I think that it's a lot easier to do that with our system where people aren't signing up by themselves. People are signing up through someone else. So it would really have to be a tough process for someone to be lying here when you cannot sign up for MODATE unless you have a connector. So there is that extra level of security there.
So in other words, a mother or grandma will say, have I got a girl for you? Have I got a guy for you? And they'll contact you and say, I want you to connect us.
Well, actually, we don't really cater.
Or is it peers
It's peers. It's peers. I think that something that people like often have a problem with in this system is that they don't really want to get set up by the mother or the grandmother because the mother or the grandmother might be obviously have like your best interest at heart, but they might be thinking more about how your family could match up with that family or something like that. But the people who really know you best are your peers, the people who don't have to love you, the people that choose to love you. So that's what we say, that we're the mutual friend you wish you had.
Have you gotten requests from mothers or grandmothers that would like to fix up their child or grandchild?
Yeah, I've had some people tell me that they want to be connectors for family members, and we just try to tell them that they should find someone their, let's say, daughter or granddaughter's age to be their connector. And I haven't really gotten any too bad of anything from that. So hopefully that remains. I mean, the new version of MODATE will be a little bit easier for that, but I still think that it's important to have people's friends be their connectors.
Now, you are single yourself. Are you able to connect through MODATE for your own personal life?
I am. I mean, it also just has introduced me to tons of people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. I currently live on the Upper West Side, and so this is kind of the, I guess, post-college dating capital of the U.S. for modern Orthodox people. So I have kind of made a name for myself up here. And I'm sure a bunch of people don't know who I am, but
my daughter Lizzie says you got to interview Evan. You got to put him on the air. He's doing something unique, something different.
Yeah, and Lizzie's really helped MODATE a lot. Lizzie was on my podcast, the MoPod, which also discusses various modern Orthodox issues and current events, especially going on with dating today. And Lizzie also helped a lot when we were first starting out on Instagram, because her account, Second Date Shadchan, has a following that's very catered to the MODATE following, honestly. And even though she obviously has followers that are also not Jewish and just way more than we do, but she definitely has our audience also. So that definitely helped a lot back in like fall of 2021. So Lizzie was a huge help.
So where do you see MODATE going?
Well, I think that once we improve the process and once we streamline things, I think MODATE could really be the preeminent modern Orthodox dating platform. I mean, I always tell people that MODATE is the hottest modern Orthodox dating platform, but in a big part, that's because it's kind of the only one that identifies it as that way. But I just hope that MODATE is both a dating platform and also sort of a community, because I think there's just a stigma behind talking about dating, and people want things to be private, and they should be, but at the same time, you don't want to feel alienated because you want to date. You want that to be an open thing that you can talk about. I think that's a great part of the podcast. We've started doing some more events. We had an event at Tempura recently where I don't call people singles or do singles events, because it's kind of a label that people who are not in a relationship don't really want to have. I think that people want to just be themselves, and dating should be a part of allowing people to be themselves and not something you should be embarrassed of.
So if people want to get more information about MODATE, where can they go for more information?
Sure. Mo information at modate.org. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at modate613. That's modate613. Also, you can listen to the MoPod on all major podcast streaming platforms.
Terrific. And you pretty much is mostly modern Orthodox. Have you been getting some either more religious or yeshivish or Hasidic or non-Orthodox also that have been coming to your platform?
So right now it's been very much mainly modern Orthodox. I think that you asked where is MODATE going and where could it possibly go? I think that if we find major success in the future with our new platform with the modern Orthodox crowd, then we could definitely expand to other crowds. I think everyone has their own niche, and there is really no one size fits all, even within just modern Orthodoxy, but there really is no one size fits all. And so we're trying to just make it as easy for first the people that I identify with the most as possible, and then in the future with who knows who else can benefit from this.
Evan Harris, the founder of MODATE. Thank you for coming on the air with us. Look forward to hearing back from you, and have wonderful success with the MODATE. And I know for yourself and anybody, any single that'd like to get married, MODATE is certainly a wonderful option. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Zev.
Thanks for listening.
For continuous Jewish programs, talklinenetwork.com, or our 24-hour-a-day listen line at 641-741-0389. For past shows, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast platforms, or jewishpodcast.org. Thanks for listening to the talklinenetwork.com.